Well, it's just, okay. My submission to your lordship is that classic Michael Sandler question, what is the right thing to do? Today, your lordships is faced with a situation where admittedly there has been a leak from Hazaribagh. Please don't think of it as the Patna leak, think of it as the Hazaribagh leak. It was caught at Patna, and we do not know today where all it leaked. Because the papers, your lordships has the investigation reports. The investigation reports say that at least some of the mobiles, the messages went to about 100 people. We do not know the extent of the leak. The timing of the leak, however, we know with reasonable certainty it did not happen on the morning of the 5th, but it happened at some point prior to the night of the 4th. It could be the 3rd, it could.
Yes.
Now, your lordships will bear in mind that criminal investigations which have gone to the CBI have not gone only from Patna or Hazaribagh. They have gone from 5 different states.
Yes.
That itself is proof that at this stage of point of time, the investigator have not come to any conclusion that this was a localized leak. Now, did we have a fair exam? My lords, here, NEET is used not only as inter-se competition. NEET is also used as a qualification. If you are qualified in NEET, you are not only qualified for the medical colleges at government expense. Many foreign countries also take NEET as you have qualified. It's cheaper sometimes to go to Ukraine and get a medical seat based on your NEET qualification because you have passed the qualifying exam of your country. So the 164 cutoff, which turns to about 13 lakh people, all of them, have they been judged by a fair and equitable standard? And can we, with any sense?
164 out of 720 is a qualifying.
Yes.
Percentile, 50%.
It's the 50th percentile. So exactly half of them. Now, the question is, can we say that among them, everybody got marks which they were fairly entitled to? It is my respectful submission, my lords, that in a competitive exam, you cannot trust a competitive exam which turns out 61 toppers. Inevitably, my lords, in any data cohort, you may have 2 or 3 people who may share marks or who may crack it. My lords, when GMAT and all those exams were held, it is rare that somebody cracked everything, got that 7 perfect
So the
score.
61, 44 are those actually who got the mark, not grace mark, but got full marks because of question 9.
Because of one question.
4.
But that also means that those 44 got marks for 179 questions right. That itself is a very high figure. Those 44 people and then couple it with what is called rank inflation. If the syllabus had been made easy, then a rising tide raises all boats together. What has happened is that in that magic zone of above 650, there are more than 50,000 students. This is a huge red flag. I was asking some of my clients, who their parents are doctors also, to think in terms of a medical analogy. And the analogy I was given was that when you suspect cancer, the tests are inconclusive. Then what you do is, as a matter of precaution, to go into chemotherapy. You cannot take the risk of letting the cancerous substances metastasize. That is where the real problem is. Today, my lords, at a stage of incomplete investigation, if your lordships were to say that, look, so far you have shown us only Hazaribagh, Patna, we do not know exactly where it is going. Do we ask a whole host of people, maybe 24 lakh, maybe 13 lakh, maybe 2 lakhs, to rewrite the exam? What if your lordships were to turn us all down and say that, no, they have given adequate justification? What your lordships at today's date will not be aware as to how many cells or how many persons got into the system. And each government seat is a case of the government spending about 1 crore per year per medical student. So at about 25,000 government seats in the general category, my lords, I also represent students who have got 690, 640 and all that. They will get a seat somewhere. But what they are not assured of is that they have got a fair rank. They are not. And after having taken your lordships through the student perspective, my lords, please look at the institutional perspective. Please look at NTA's constant responses to your lordships. If the NTA had been a serious examination agency, it would have been most concerned about the integrity of the process. But what did it do? On the 5th itself, when it was told that the paper had leaked, and on the 5th, if it had taken a decision that, look, once there is a leakage of a paper, we find it unsafe. And supposing they had taken that decision and we were challenging it, saying, look, it leaked only in one place. How can you scrap an entire exam? Would your lordships have found an outrageous defiance of logic in that decision? I'm turning the question around.
Yes.
The NTA continued to deny the fact that there was a leak. It did not cooperate with the Bihar police. Apparently, the EOU even wrote them letters. They did not immediately cooperate. My lords, there were special circumstances this year. In May and June, everybody was preoccupied with the elections. Nobody was possibly there to guide them. It is quite possible that the administrative agency thought, just let the thing blow over or let whoever comes in guide us. Continually, they kept denying, and it was only when your lordships asked questions that then came that little thing that, yes, we did give grace marks, but we can redo it by a retest for for some 1563 students. At that stage also, if they had looked at their own data, if today they have not been transparent, they haven't given the full data. In fact, all the data that Mr. Huda has so painstakingly given your lordships has been after we were served with about 4,500 PDF files. That had to be run through, data had to be extracted, and we can see some hotspots. So whether they are hotspots, whether they are red flags, that is for them to explain. Then, my lords, the NTA continues to be in denial. It's only as late as the 22nd of June that changes are made in personnel and that the CBI is put in charge of the investigation. I do not know what has been there in that report. I do not know whether there is a theory of investigation. But what comes out is that there is an organized gang which has a prior history of leaking papers. It is their business model. And, my lords, when educational excess becomes a business model, the leaked paper is a time-limited commodity. You have it for 2 days or less. You have to maximize profit. And everybody into whose hands it goes, whether it is the paper solver or anybody else, will try to maximize.
Anything else now?
Just give me 2 more minutes, my lords. The fact is that we cannot tell the students that this is a fair exam. We cannot send a signal to the NTA that we approve of what you have done, nor can we tell those who indulge in these practices that, look, you may very well get away with it. Because if these results stand, those post-dated checks may still be cashed. They still have a value. So therefore, my lords, the safer thing to do is, your lordships has already done it. Your lordships has said retest for those 1563. If your lordships were to treat what has happened so far as step 1 of the exams, everybody above 164 had a chance at a medical seat. Those people, give them a re-examination, because your lordships will see from their own affidavit, which Mr. Huda also pointed out, somebody who's got 720 ends up with 640. Let everybody be accurately measured. That's the least that can be done, my lords. I'm grateful. My lords, just one thing before I go. Since the Solicitor General is here and he likes Urdu poetry, the case can be summarized by one verse. तू इधर उधर की बात ना कर, मुझे ये बता काफिला क्यों लुटा, हमें रहजानों से गिला नहीं है, तेरी रहबरी का सवाल है. It is your guidance. It's your
Rehzano, not Rehzano. It's Rehzano.
Rezano ki. Oh, obliged. Grateful, my lords.
2 minutes, my lord. Just I will take, my lord.
Just, yeah, Mr.
My lord, I'll